it's Lady Pruitt again, and I wanted to continue my talk on Israel. So let's talk. Right now, I want to talk about during this session about the old city, Jerusalem. Oh my goodness. I was so amazed and humbled by being able to walk in this place again where Jesus, our Savior, walked. But as I went into the old city of Jerusalem, and I was able to do, the Stations of the Cross, and I was able to visit the Pool of Bethesda while I was there. But I kept looking at the stones. Because I noticed that some of the stones towards the bottom were much larger, and then they kind of got smaller as you went up. And our guide explained to us how, over the centuries, how the walls being knocked off, so they build new stones on top of it, so the stones are smaller. And it's amazing that the largest stones are towards the bottom, which is when they have the most primitive materials. So one of the things that I kept doing was I kept touching the wall, because I kept saying, wow, it's amazing. Maybe Jesus touched this very place where I'm placing my hands and touching the different walls. So I kept touching those lower blocks as I went along. And another thing that happened to me, and I think this was kind of like a defining moment for me. And I know people say that Israel, it's commercialized. And yes, there's some commercialism. Yes, they're going to be selling you all kinds of little trinkets everywhere you go. Yes, that's a part of it. Pretty much everywhere you go, that happens. But I didn't focus on that. I was focused on this spiritual journey going through Old Jerusalem. And I was really trying to visualize myself during that time of when during Jesus's time, as he walked through those same streets. Of course, it was the guide explained to us, it looked much different, and it was much lower levels, which is fine. To me, it was fine anyway, because I'm like, oh, these are still some of the same blocks, and this is still the same area where he was. So I was cool with that. So anyway, a defining moment for me, as I was saying, was when we did the Station of the Cross. And, so we walked through the different stations and whatnot, where they believed that Jesus walked as he was headed to Calvary. And when I got to the area of Calvary, Golgotha, where there was, and of course, they built a church there because they tried to preserve these places by putting a church there so they wouldn't be destroyed by the different empires that came subsequently. So there's an area there where you can stick your hand in this hole and feel kind of the rock. And they believe this is the place where, they put the cross of Jesus. So anyway, I remember waiting in line as I was going there, and different people got a chance to go kneel down and reach their hand into the hole and kind of feel and touch the rock. So I waited my turn, and I remember that when I went to touch that rock, when I put my hand in there and I felt that rock, I fell apart. I started boo-hoo crying. I was uncontrollably crying. They had to come and help me out, because I just visualized our Savior being placed on this cross in that area. I'm telling you, I'm getting teary-eyed even right now as I'm talking about it. It just did something to me. It just really kind of melted my heart, and really connected me with my Savior. I felt such a deep spiritual connection when I was able to do that. And again, never in my life I thought I'd be able to go to Israel and be able to do this, but just doing that and seeing those areas. When I went into also the tomb where they believed that Jesus was buried, that was another moment for me. You can only do it for seconds because there's so many people in line. We waited, of course, for a couple of hours to even be able to get in, but to me, it was just amazing. It was just such a wonderful, wonderful experience. I couldn't even, it's hard to even put it into words, and to try to explain it to you, because unless you're there, I don't think you really get it. You can kind of sense from what I'm saying, maybe getting a little bit of it, but not unless you're really, really there. You don't really get it. I hope if you aren't able to get there, that I can give you kind of like a little sense of it. But again, being there was just amazing, amazing, amazing. So anyway, stay tuned for the next segment of Let's Talk, where I kind of talk one more time about Israel, my trip, because it was so wonderful. God bless.